Good morning, everyone. PatBenage here, the evolution coach, creator of the 6-Week Shift, author of this inspirational blog, SoulTalk, also creator of the Inner Path. And wanted to make a quick announcement before I kind of get into my talk today. And it's because it's really related to my talk today. But I'm going to be speaking, actually, for those of you that are local to Central Oregon, or going to be in the area, December 11th at 5:15, I'll be speaking at the Old Stone Church here in Bend. And my talk will be on purpose, prosperity, and peace. And so I hope that you'll join me if you're in the neighborhood, and speaking with the spiritual awareness community here in Central Oregon. So got that out of the way. So the reason that I wanted to make that announcement, it's also my talk today. My talk today is going to be about those same three things. And I think that it's one of the things that came through to me this morning as I was doing my own contemplation, is that we tend to mix up the order of those. We tend to put sort of the cart before the horse kind of thing. We want peace, we want prosperity, but we have no idea about our purpose. And you can't get the other two without the first one. You can't get to prosperity and peace without having found your purpose, discovered what you're actually here for, and begun to live that. And the place to start really is, when it comes to purpose, is to determine a little bit more about the big picture, which I've talked a lot about. The big picture of purpose. What is life about? Why are we here in the first place? Why am I having this human experience? Why are any of us having it? And that's really, sort of gets to the heart of what the purpose of life is. And, I'm not going to go into all of that in this, because like I said, I've talked about this many, many times. Just suffice it to say that we're here, experiencing who we are. And that's the basic purpose of life in this realm, in this dimension. And so then the question becomes, what is my purpose in this life? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is it? Is there something that I'm supposed to be doing? Is there something that is is by design I'm here to do? Or is it just sort of random and I just pick whatever? Most people go through life and they really do kind of jump on whatever the next thing is, whatever shows up, and whatever their motivation is, that affects what they pick as what they're going to be doing. And purpose really, although it's reflected in what we do, purpose is really about what we're being. And purpose is about passion. What am I passionate about? What is it that brings me joy in my life? What do I have really, what is the big draw for me? And that's an inner draw. That's not, relationships out here. That's not, sex or money or whatever it happens to be, power, fame, whatever those external things are, has nothing to do with purpose. Nothing to do with purpose. You know, building a great company or anything on the external, that's not the purpose. That's not the purpose. And the problem is, as I've said so many times, we get our focus and our attention outside of ourselves, and that is what we believe to be our purpose. If we have any idea what our purpose might be at all. But purpose is something that is innate. It's internal. It's something that you feel at the very core of who you are. And in order to find that, in order to discover what that is, you have to go within. You have to look within. You have to spend time getting to know yourself. You know, and as I talked about last time, know thyself. That's the truth of things. And once you get to know who you really are, then what you discover about your purpose is that the universe, your whole outer world shows up in a way that gives you the opportunity to fulfill that purpose. And this is a critical part about purpose, is purpose leads to fulfillment, which leads to prosperity, which leads to peace. This is why you have to put purpose first. This is why you have to move inward and discover what it is that lights your fire, what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that is really of value and importance to you, and then watch how life shows up to give you the opportunity to experience that. Because that's what it is. One of the things that came through to me this morning very, very strong was just this little idea about, you know, how we view ourselves and life. It's a little idea, but it's big at the same time. And what came through is that it's all about my ability to see the possibilities of my own true magnificence. Think about that for just a minute. My ability or inability to see the possibilities of my greatness determines everything. It influences and directs everything about my outer experience. And there's really, if you don't have the ability to see that, if you don't have the ability to see your own brilliance, then how are you ever going to create that? How are you ever going to create the true prosperity? How are you going to ever create true peace in your own life? Because soul knows this about itself. And so if in my presence, in my conscious awareness, I don't have that ability to see it myself, then I'm always in conflict with my soul, which is my true self. And so never can I be at peace. And never will I achieve true prosperity. Because prosperity isn't ever one-dimensional. And we get confused about what prosperity is, and we think it looks like having wealth or money or things. And it's not about that. Certainly that can be one aspect of it, but that's not what it is. Prosperity is freedom. Prosperity is the ability to be oneself fully and completely in every moment. That's prosperity. I mean, think about it. Doesn't that make sense? If you have the freedom and the ability to be yourself in every single moment of your life, I'd say that's prospering pretty well. Seems that way to me. And if that's the case, how can you be anything but at peace? And so those two really go hand in hand, but without purpose, you will never have those things, not fully, not completely. And if you're, and purpose, it's got a couple of different types of definitions. Purpose is a noun, and it's something that is defined in such a way as my purpose. Or it can be doing things on purpose, consciously, purposefully. So I can be on purpose, like I'm on task, and I can be doing things on purpose, consciously and with awareness, and I can be working toward and experiencing my purpose in life. And all of that is wrapped up in the same thing. That's what I'm talking about. That's purpose. That's, and purpose also, and we definitely get this confused, purpose is always about the self. My purpose is about me. It's not about what I do outside. It's not about what I do with other people, although it is about how I am with other people. There's a subtle difference there, but that's critical, I think, in this process to understand that. And all of that, again, is influenced by whether I have the ability to see the possibilities of my own brilliance. And when I'm able to do that, when I'm able to see, I don't have to see all of it. I don't have to see, completely that I am this divine spark of God, and that I'm, a piece of God, that I'm imbued with all of the power and glory that is Source. I don't have to see that fully, but I do have to see the possibilities that exist within that. And when I don't, that leads to despair. It leads to discontent. It leads to just feelings of disconnection. And when I see just even glimpses of my own brilliance, my own greatness, my own truth, then once you see that, then you can't help but be on purpose. You can't help it because you're driven to fulfill your own purpose. That's soul is here to do that. Soul is here to fulfill its purpose of experiencing all of itself. That's it. And in this lifetime, what my specific part of that purpose, that overall purpose of experiencing my whole self, is about what is it that I'm passionate about? What is it that I find of great value in this life? And that's determined by all of my experiences up to this point. So things that have happened in my life have happened in such a way that it's moved me toward that. It's shown me, it's given me opportunities to experience parts of that whole thing that I find valuable in ways that I can more fully embody that and fulfill that portion of my journey. And once I recognize that, then my whole being lines up to realize it, to make it real. That's what self-realization is about. And in that, once you get, I mean, I know you all have had moments when you've felt like you were just right in the flow of things, right, experiencing kind of your bliss, being right in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what it is that you just love to do. And so when you recognize that, sometimes it happens by accident, or sort of by accident. No accidents really, but when you've recognized this and you've begun to express it and to experience it consciously, on purpose, life just opens up. Life just opens up. And like I said, soul is moving in this direction all the time. And so it's when we become aware and we start to move in that direction, everything lines up because we're aligned. And everything lines up, and you cannot help but begin to bring prosperity and peace into your experience once that happens. Now, I won't say that you can't go back and forth a little bit, because we always do. We don't get it right away and then, we're automatically 100% there all the time. And so it's still important to keep your attention on that. And there's still going to be distractions that are going to draw you away from it. But if you take the time to recognize and to pay attention and to focus on that purpose of your life, all of these things will come together. All of them. They can't help but. So that's it for today, and I really appreciate, again, you guys being here and listening to me and reading below. Please share this with anybody that you think might benefit from it. Like it, share it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, however you do your thing, or just forward the email. There's a link below to forward the email. And I've told this before to people, but please, if you forward, use the link in the email that you got to forward to a friend. Reason being, on occasion, what can happen is if you just straight forward it to somebody and then they think it's spam or something and click, unsubscribe, they've unsubscribed you. And so just be aware of that. And if you forward it, using the link in the email, then what that does is that will give them their own email, essentially, and it won't be attached to you. And so I appreciate it. Again, if you're in the area, December 11th, 5:15 at the Old Stone Church, 5:15 in the evening, I'll be speaking on this same subject, and looking to possibly have a kind of a more in-depth talk and discussion and experience about it after the initial talk that evening. So share, comment, let me know how you're doing. Appreciate it. Thanks again. We'll see you next week, and remember, live life from the inside out.